Sucker Punch's Infamous follows Cool, a courier who's been asked by an anonymous customer to deliver a package. However, the package explodes, levelling 6 blocks of the city and putting Cool into a coma. When Cool wakes up, he finds the city has been quarantined, gangs and crime are ruining the city, and that he has superpowers based on electricity. The question is, will he use these powers to help the city or to let the city burn? Infamous's presentation is pretty decent. The world does look legitimately battered and bruised and broken from the events of what went on, and yet it still manages to look nice and detailed. The colours do tend to look a little bit grey and drab, but at times some districts do spice things up by introducing neon lights. It all looks quite nice and very effective at conveying this apocalyptic feel. This is also added by the civilians walking around. They all look depressed, they all look dropped and pretty much hopeless. Some even come over to you and give off their little stories of why they're in the city and what they think happened. It's a very effective way of conveying the way of the apocalypse. Infamous does it very well. At the same time, there's not many frame rate issues that go on, apart from when you're in massive scale combat, but this can be acceptable due to the amount of enemies on screen at any given time. At times there is also some texture pop, but this can be expected from most games, even more so when it's a large open out world. Infamous's texture pop doesn't actually happen all that too often, it mostly occurs when you're grinding on the railway track. But overall there's no issues which stop you from playing Infamous, or even enhance your enjoyment of the game. Presentation also stretches to Cool. His character model is well detailed, and his animation is fluid. While climbing walls, pretty much everything is scalable in the game, animation looks fluid and Cool looks very natural as he climbs. The decent animation also stretches to every other character model in the game. The only exception is the odd enemy, which tends to seem jolty in its movements, but this only seems to happen when the game is near water for some reason. Audio wise, the game is also top notch. The sound effects of exploding cars, your lightning beam fired at your hand and screaming at enemies is all done very well and very realistically. It all adds to the notion of the game, and it also adds to the overall atmosphere and the believable world. When we cover voice acting, there is a little bit of a problem here. Cool's voice seems very overly gravelly and almost generic action film type. Gears of War had the same problem, but Infamous seems to overreact it. It almost sounds like Christian Bale in The Dark Knight just chewing on more gravel. It kind of distracts me when I'm playing the game, and it may distract others. It is once again down to personal preference, but the voiceover for Cool is not a very good one.
What the hell was that?
I blew up the gas station.
What? Just cause you can't drive, man, doesn't mean no one else wants to. We could have used that gas.
Well, like you wouldn't have done the same thing.
Touché, Capitan.
Supporting cast also sometimes suffer from very weak voice acting. The only real strong point is the voice acting from the character's named Zeke, who seems very believable at all times. This is a rare thing in Infamous. It's not a huge issue. It should be noted that the soundtrack also complements the game quite well, and also adds to the atmosphere. There isn't any sort of out of place music, or any sort of obstructs your enjoyment of the overall game. Unlike other games, Infamous doesn't convey its story through cutscenes. It instead conveys its story through comic book panels, which look very effective and edgy. This is to improve the comic book motif, which is a big theme with Infamous. It's a very effective way to forward the story, and suits the game down to a T. The main gameplay of Infamous all revolves around choices. As Cool, you have the ability to use all these special powers, such as gliding, firing lightning bolts out your hand, and throwing lightning nades at people. However, the question is, how do you use it? The morality decisions normally come into play with the side missions, which range from anything from defending a certain point, to protecting an area, or even escorting a civilian. These morality decisions also gain your standing with civilians. If you're seen as evil, you'll become pale-faced and fire red lightning, and civilians will react negatively to you. If you go good, you will become more light-faced and fire blue lightning, and civilians will be posters up of you, displaying you as some sort of god. The common decisions come in many shapes and forms. Some are smaller, such as do you want to feed the civilians or take the food for yourself, to the larger ones, which normally pop up in stories. When this pops up, Cole will actually question the pros and the cons of the situation, and then it's up to you to make a decision. Remember that karma is a big standing theme in Infamous and a big part of the gameplay.
See if that gets in the back off.
You can engage in story missions at any point in time you want, but for the most part you'll find yourself doing side missions. The side missions allow you to gain extra experience, which allows you to unlock new skills or boost up your current skills. For the most part there's 3 levels of each skill, all increasing the power or increasing the effectiveness of the skill, or indeed increasing Cool's overall combat effectiveness. Embarking on trying to level your skills is actually quite addictive, and also allows you to progress through the game faster with more ease. It's a very effective way of keeping the player involved, and also including replay value. Overall, Infamous is a pretty solid package. It offers around 20 hours of gameplay and replayability if you want to go back and play as good, or vice versa, evil. As well as this, there's plenty of collectibles to be had, but of course, collectibles aren't everyone's thing. The ability to scale pretty much everything in the city, the ability to make the city bend to your will via the choices you make through the story, makes Infamous quite an impressive title, and quite an intriguing one at that. The visuals are top notch, the audio is top notch apart from some rubby voice acting, and the combat's intense. Overall, you'd be doing yourself disjustice if you skipped in.